Hey,
Uncle
Uncle
Dan.
whoa. We had a double. There was a two uncle collision on Highway 6.
I saw the whole thing go down.
Wow, it's terrifying.
I couldn't look away. I couldn't look away.
No, why would you? Now you're rubbernecking.
I saw you coming, so I thought I'd jump in.
So here we go. You know what I love
What do you love?
in this world?
Many things, I assume.
Many things. One of the things that I actually adore is how humans are apt to believe the oddest of things.
Oddest is the nicest way possible to put it.
And I think Uncle Mark's gonna wander us through the valley of woo.
Valley of Woo. Lo, though I walk to the Valley of Woo.
Well, it's a sort of a valley, but you just can't see it from where you're sitting. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this, the woo, our watch out for woo thing is really there. If religion is heroin or the opiate of the masses, then woo is the methadone of the masses, and it is a frequent stop for the post-religious, right?
Yeah.
Or at least it's the hair of the dog of the masses, and it's a frequent stop for the post-religious to kind of, I'm still spiritual, and and then at some point, most people realize it's still absurd. I should just believe in a rational, evidence-based system in life, rather than,
You, sir,
the tarot.
are trying to discount all of the really strong evidence there is for all of the woo.
That if you yell at water, it remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's mostly harmless, except for that picture I sent you guys with the person who glued crystals all over their steering wheel.
That was hilarious.
All over their airbag.
They had literally crystals and they were like, and like with the caption, "I'm totally safe now" or something like that.
All over like the horn thing
Where
and
the
the steering
bag
wheel.
comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So if they get in an accident, their face will it'll be like buckshot across their face.
Doug said they turned their airbag into a claymore. So with that minor diversion, which is not half as crazy as we are going to delve into today.
Hurrah.
So this, pardon me, this is one of those stops one might make post-Catholicism or something that really I would like to talk you out of it, and maybe I can do in this particular watch out for woo. So this one is kind of amazing. This is the Hollow Earth theory.
Oh, boy.
That sounds fancy.
So we know there are flat earthers,
yeah.
but there are also hollow earthers. And before we embark, and there's far fewer hollow earthers, by the way, but which oddly, there's a greater chance that the Earth is hollow than it is flat like a pizza box. But before we embark on what is a truly literal descent into total moonbat lunacy,
Okay.
I just want to preface it with saying that the theory of the hollow earth insanity is truly that, but when you boil any shambles of incoherent, factless, wish-fulfilling, bias-confirming ideas down to their essence, is a flat earth or a hollow earth any crazier than a virgin birth?
No.
Or
Yeah.
pre-Columbian wooden submarines crossing the Mediterranean only to get to the Atlantic, only to get to the Caribbean Ocean? Or is it any crazier than prophets flying away to heaven on a winged horse?
I mean,
The answer is no.
the answer is they all sound perfectly reasonable and rational
Right.
to me.
So you may draw your own conclusions, dear listeners, but hopefully the prime directive of this podcast will help you understand your uncle's opinions about these sort of things. But let's dive in nonetheless. So let us leave the rock-solid, rock-hard stability of sanity aside and drill downward, forever downward, into this week's Watch Out for Woo, the hollow motherfucking Earth. So now, in researching this segment, I realized that this idea is hardly new, as we've explored in a few of our Let's Go to Hell segments. Most of the world's early cultures and civilizations believed in some kind of underground world, from the Greek Tartarus, which was the template for Catholic hell, to the crazy, very specific horrors of Naraka, the Buddhist and also Hindu hells. Most of the classical punishments of the ancient world lie underground. But the caverns below...
By the way, the Upside Down in Stranger Things. Also,
Ooh,
I'm just saying.
Topical.
And what was that crazy, scary movie I saw when I was at the Mole People?
Right?
Remember that spooky ass old black and white? And they just go underground.
Of course I don't. I'm not
I
300.
kind of do remember that. But
Yeah, it was fucked me up. But also in other cultures, the underworld has, like the literal underworld, has been the birthplace of other cultures, from ancient Mexico to Micronesia, even the Iroquois Indians of North America. Humanity emerging from a mysterious, lush underworld is also a common theme. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so it's an origin. It's an exodus. It's the before and the after. It's the alpha and the omega.
Everybody's got an idea about what's underground.
there's something going on down there.
If you dig enough, you get to the other place, land of the lost.
If you have a very special stone,
There you go.
You can see treasures under the ground. So the 18th century, a new class of intellects and thinkers stepped into all this mysterious and enticing anthropological mythos, and these were the scientists and scholars of the Enlightenment. Mm-hmm. One of the earliest, in air quotes, modern proponents of the Hollow Earth was none other than Astronomer Royal to the British Royal Court, Sir Edmund Halley.
Oh yeah,
Yes, the guy the comet is named after.
right.
Huh. So, because he was one of history's greatest minds, he was befuddled by the sometimes strange behavior of compass needles as one moved about the Earth. So, of course, he theorized the Earth was not a solid ball of rock and magma, but that it was instead a kind of Russian nesting doll of balls within a ball, all surrounding an actual much smaller solid ball. So he did believe in a solid Earth.
Okay.
It was just 4 layers inside this one.
Balls within balls,
And
which, by the way, I believe in too. But that's just because I've got a thing.
yeah, it's
Is a bump? I don't know. Maybe it's cancer.
it's intertesticle.
It's cancer.
But even crazier, all of these inner spheres and the inner ball rotated like the Earth, but independently of the Earth,
Right.
and each had its own magnetic poles. That explained the weird behavior of compass needles.
Ta-da! Solved.
Right. So this idea of spheres within spheres, you'll be happy to know, is no longer the current science of the hollow Earth theory, but Halley's idea that the aurora borealis were caused by warm air escaping from the polar openings to the hollow Earth is still very much part of the current thinking.
Hashtag Earth farts.
Total Earth farts. So, other Enlightenment figures jumped in on the completely crazy idea, theorizing that there were fully developed civilizations within the Earth. And
that's a big jump. Just to
Land of the lost.
yeah, there's some spitting orbs down there and civilizations.
Dinosaurs.
and people, and of course, so people would require a sun. So there's a sun.
It's a Dyson sphere. It's a Dyson sphere. I got nerd. I have a nerd reference for it.
So yes, a star inside the Earth.
Yeah.
And most insanely, Scottish mathematician, I don't know if it's most insanely, but to me it was, Sir John Leslie theorized there were 2 suns inside the Earth. So
Why not?
anyone who knows a little about binary star systems will laugh at the idea of such a violent, anomalous gravitational maelstrom inside our not very big planet.
But they're little. They're cute stars.
And there'll be more on the sun in a minute. So, the big brains of the Enlightenment planted the seeds of the hollow Earth. Mm-hmm. And it maintained a bit over the next 150 years, but it kind of wasn't that big a thing.
So did it all kind of stem from Halley and his magnets? How do they work?
Right. Right. And it's,
Halley was one of the, there's a little known fact, one of the original members of Insane Clown Posse.
ICP, motherfuckers.
I don't know if you know that.
But,
ICP for life.
what's so true of like a lot of these Enlightenment.
I just the Royal Astronomical whatever or something is like the first Juggalos.
The first Juggalo.
That's my favorite. Like, if you've ever been to Greenwich outside of London,
Yeah.
it's just face paint.
that's-
as far as the eye can see.
That's why to this day the Juggalos wear very fussy powdered wigs. That is an Enlightenment fact, motherfuckers. So,
you wouldn't believe the amount of HP sauce they have at their gatherings.
and if you drill down into these Enlightenment figures, you look at like Isaac Newton, you're like, oh my God, one of the great originators of understanding physics in this earth.
Yeah.
He was also an alchemist.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So they were all they were working with the clay they had. And
exactly.
and let's give them credit for getting everything about half right. So because everybody before that had it
Zero right.
Yeah. So good job, guy named after a comet.
Yeah.
So it kind of this idea of the Hollow Earth kind of farted around for a little while, farting out Aurora Borealis all over the place. But in the 20th century, it took off again because of this spiritual movement. So spiritualists like Walburga, who, as you all know, is a good friend of Queen Victoria, were all excited about the Atlantis and Lemurian myths that were all the rage at the time.
Oh, everybody, right? Lemuria, we've talked about that.
At episode 15, go back to episode 15 and you can learn all about Lemuria, the long, skinny continent. So,
Peopled entirely with lemurs.
so the Hollow Earth provided a good next chapter for the Atlantean saga,
Yeah.
as it gave, as we know, the very proud and highly advanced inhabitants of the sunken continent a place to have escaped to. These ideas had also been popularized in fiction, as you know, books like Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth, William Henry Hudson's A Crystal Age, and Edgar Rice Burroughs' At the Earth's Core. So clearly this, the romantic idea of a secret Earth within our observable Earth captured the public imagination. But things like school, observable science, evidence, cartography, geology, aerial reconnaissance, satellite images, and pretty much every fucking thing should have put this fun fictional notion to bed.
Right.
Not so, dear uncles.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Along with the massive scientific and technological explosions of the 20th century, this era also brought us humanity's peak crack pottery. So we shall talk about one of the gateways for the time-honored American religion of conspiracy theory, Art Bell, at length another time.
Oh, dear.
But for the purpose of this discussion, all you need to know is he had a highly popular syndicated AM radio program called Coast to Coast AM.
Yeah.
That was a nightly forum for the fringiest of fringe ideas in the conspiracy and paranormal world. So I remember Art Bell.
I totally remember Art Bell.
Yeah.
I managed to never even hear of this person.
It's pretty amusing stuff.
Yeah. When I spent some time in southern Utah and at night we would get no radio stations, but you could pick up Art Bell because it was AM and it was everywhere,
Right.
And it was crazy.
It was crazy. It was lizard people
Yeah.
and like the whole David Icke universe.
He was the what's his name? The Alex Jones of his time.
Yeah, well, he wasn't.
Minus the rage.
He was kind of a calm.
Okay.
He was kind of a calm figure.
Yeah, he had a real radio voice and was kind of a calm character, which made the craziness even stranger. But
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You can find him on the internet and listen to him. But anyway, so according to a report I found in the Telegraph UK, on the night of October 4th, 2002, let me take you back. A guy by the name of Dallas Thompson appeared as a guest. A formal personal trainer. Former person. He was a formal personal trainer.
Have you ever,
Yes.
you know those guys at the gym in their tuxedos?
Yeah. Yeah,
They're
if
the
you
worst.
can do burpees and a top hat, he was your guy. So fucking stupid Mark. He was a former personal trainer. Thompson said his car had plunged off a cliff in a rainstorm. He plummeted 250 feet before crashing. While he lay somehow alive in the crumpled wreck, he saw a light of revelation so bright he claimed to have become legally blind from it. The light was the knowledge that the earth was hollow and the opening was near the North Pole, and that his destiny was to go to there. And according to Thompson, there was a place where modernity and pollution had not penetrated,
No.
teeming with woolly mammoths and ancient tribes of people that lived to the very specific age of 1,700 years.
Oh.
He also revealed to Art Bell that he'd raised the funds to buy a critically important solo trek, which is like a helicopter version of a jetpack with which he would travel to and descend into the polar gateway to paradise.
I love it.
So he had a book that he wrote about all this stuff, and it turned into a bestseller because people are crazy. And as public interest in the trek exploded, and just before the date he was to mount his mission, he mysteriously disappeared from public view. Coincidence?
See, now this is what he may have done it wrong, because the way you do this is you get everybody gathered around you, you take off in your stupid vehicle,
Yes.
you fly out of sight, and then you go with all of their money and live happily in Duluth for the rest of your
That's
life
right.
as John,
you take all their
John
cash.
Doe's.
then you go and sell the monorail in Ogdenville.
Right.
your single serving helicopter.
Yeah.
So what did the car crash have to do with any of this?
It was like
It was the inciting incident.
It was the inciting incident.
was-
It's the catalytic event that
Apparently, he couldn't use "I prayed and Jesus told me," so he
Yeah,
he went
I mean,
with.
it's classic. It's the moment of death, right? It's the moment of
Well, and also, what could be more believable in the world than I suffered brain trauma and now I know something that
tell
you
what
guys
would be-
should believe?
I'll tell you what would be more believable. My car fell 250 feet. I broke through into the inner earth.
Yeah.
Right.
Saw it and came back.
I'm back, and they said, "Don't fuck with us. Nobody ever come back here."
And then they rebuilt the hole.
Yeah.
They
spackled my car hole. Car that my Honda Civic, the whole of my Honda Civic.
you guys would be shocked. It's just plaster that's keeping us from them, but they're really good at it.
So, unfortunately, we no longer know where Dallas Thompson and his little helicopter are. But not to worry, dear uncles. The beautiful dream of an Earth within our Earth didn't disappear from this Earth with Thompson
Thank God.
and his backpack autogyro. No, a good Mormon man and fellow Utah, of course,
Oh yeah.
by the name of Rodney Clough, has picked up the hollow Earth mantle and run with it until he bonked his head on the distant upward curving horizon. Born in the same polygamist workaround to U.S. law that Mitt Romney's father was, Colonia Juarez in northern Mexico,
Okay.
he claims he was first exposed to the idea while working as a farmhand in New Mexico as a teenager. At that critical moment, a lifelong passion was launched.
I just want to know who the fuck is spouting hollow Earth theory to Mexican farm workers.
Yeah, you're toiling in the field in the Mexican sun, and someone's like, "Hey,
Hey, you know what would happen if you swung that pickaxe far enough down?
Yeah. Hey, keep working, but I want to tell you about something. Yeah, keep going. So years later, a grown-up married Clough moved his wife and family from sunny Arizona to rural Alaska to be closer to one of the polar holes to paradise. This is where it gets very exciting, guys. He gathered a group of like-minded adventurers and struck out by car for the world's most incredible secret. Can you imagine the excitement, the trepidation, the potentially explosive revelations of such a courageous journey? What a day of bold, fearless discovery lay ahead of this intrepid band of adventurers in their Chevy Impala. I'll let the reporting of the Telegraph's Will Storr pick up the adventure tale from here. Quoting Clough, "We started up the road to Point Barrow. We saw a sign at one point saying, 'This is a private road. Don't go any further.'
You said to Barrow?
To Point Barrow."
Point Barrow. I know where Barrow, Alaska is the northernmost city in the world.
yeah,
Well, Point Barrow, I don't know if it's the same
I
thing.
don't know if it's...
At one point, we ran into a sign, "This is a private road. Do not go any further." So we didn't go any further. Storr, the reporter, asks how long they drove before they reached the sign and aborted the mission. "About an hour," Clough said. "Less than an hour," Clough finally led on.
wait a second.
Now,
There was a stop sign.
now I know this is the greatest story of adventure since Alexander wept because there were no worlds left to conquer.
Alexander wept because it was a yield sign.
But our hero Elder Clough wouldn't let such insurmountable obstacles as a no trespassing sign thwart his passion for all things hollow. He has since created, this is what you do when you're thrown off by a sign. He has since created a deeply informative website, World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow, ! To be found at the URL ourhollowearth.com. Please check it out. He lays out his bona fides as a faithful Mormon whose ancestry is described as, in quotes, Israelitish.
Ish. I love it.
He's Israelitish.
I've got a lot of ish in my ancestry.
That's his word, not mine.
He's not a Jew. He's just Jewish.
He's
That's
an
right.
Israelitish via Viking royalty and some kind of friendship with William the Conqueror.
Of course.
So you know everything else he says is full reels.
Can I just point out, by the way, I had to look it up to be sure, but all of this talk about the North Pole being the entrance to the thing, you guys know that the actual North Pole is completely underwater, right?
Yes, well, if you go to the website, which I just directed you to,
if you believe the internet,
Right.
it is 5 degrees off the North Pole, Dan.
I'm pretty sure that's
so
also
still
underwater.
also underwater.
Totally underwater. So, but when do such facts get in the way of the truth?
Right.
So, laying out his case for the hollow Earth on his website, he first explains that not only the Earth, but the other planets, the Moon, and the nuclear furnaces of the stars themselves are all hollow and all inhabited.
I love it.
Yes. So and we'll talk another time about how Mormons do think the moon and the sun are
Yeah,
inhabited.
No, Mormons did. Some Mormons did.
It's still on the books.
It,
So then he goes on to describe the anodyne, totally normal reality of what's up inside this 6,000-year-old hollow ball of ours. And this is just a partial list. It has a teensy interior sun 600 miles in diameter. Never mind that once you subtract that diameter, then you twice subtract the 800-mile thickness of the hollow Earth's crust. The good people of the interior sun, or the interior Earth, live only about 2,500 miles from their sun's molten nuclear fissile surface.
right.
We are 93 million surface dwellers, are 93 million miles from our sun, and it will burn the shit out of you in nothing flat.
Yeah, but our sun, let's be fair, our sun is big.
It's big.
Their sun's little. I mean,
It's a little sun.
It's just a little baby.
Well, you know, the inner sun is closer to the inner Earth surface than LA is to New York. Also, our massive killer sun is just a few pixels in the vast sky, yet it's too powerful to look at directly.
Right.
The massive scale of the inner sun in the interior sky would make it basically impossible to avoid looking at. Couple that with the fact that there's never night. Oh, fuck, I don't care. Whatever.
There's no nighttime. Yeah,
There's no nighttime.
Yeah, that would just be. Sounds delightful.
So back to the list of partial list of what's up down there. So it is where the original Garden of Eden is today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's still there.
It's still there.
All right.
Wait. You're telling me that it's not in Missouri because
He has a workaround for that.
It's under Missouri.
they flipped it.
Did you
it's
spell
anti-Missouri.
Missouri backwards?
Right.
It's rum.
It's where the political kingdom of God is, whatever that means.
The political kingdom. Okay.
Yeah. It's where the vanquished Germans, meaning Nazis, went after World War II.
It sounds great.
All right.
And I have to disagree there. That's actually a mysterious, legendary land called Argentina.
/ Brazil.
It's also where flying saucers come from. It's where super healthy inner humans live to be hundreds of years old. That's no surprise.
yeah.
It is, of course, where heaven is. And, of course,
Heaven's underground in constant sun and like million-degree heat.
yes.
Okay.
And totally smaller than Earth.
And a bunch of Nazis.
Small aside, people down there are 15 feet tall, but let's not get too hung up in that.
Doesn't help, does it?
And more importantly, gravity isn't what we think it is, according to Clough,
Well, that is an important point.
because obvious, but people are kind of sucked to the surface, inside or out, because the ether inside atoms is constantly imploding and sucking us down.
Oh.
Oh.
I think. I don't fucking know. It broke my brain at that point. So
Sucking us down as though the sun doesn't have the same atoms sucking you toward it.
Right.
Yeah. It all makes sense.
So let
I
me
think
now-
all that it makes.
let me now, to you doubting motherfuckers, lay out the proofs.
yeah.
He goes on to describe that the interior has been visited by a lost Norwegian fisherman,
Oh, sure.
a secret agent dispatched by the Freemasons in 1827.
Do they do that?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's like the Kingsmen.
Had I known that existed, I would have applied as a younger man.
You have to know the handshakes. It has been visited by a Nazi U-boat that somehow sailed through a water tunnel to it.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll have those.
The famed polar explorer, Medal of Honor winner, and daring aviator Admiral Byrd,
Yeah.
who secretly flew in and out of both polar openings to the interior paradise, but knew the secret must never get out for some reason.
Right.
Spoiler, it's the Jews. A woman named Phoebe Holmes, who was taken inside by two angels, who revealed it would become a celestial paradise in the year 3020.
Oh, okay.
And most obviously, it was visited by Commander Valiant Thor, head of the Council of the 12 of Hollow Venus, who flew there in his 7-mile-long spaceship.
Oh, my God.
Poppycock, you say. Other than Admiral Byrd and a high-ranking Hollow Venus Mormon, what proof do you have of these wild claims? Well, you earth full of rocks and lava doubting Thomases, here comes a load of hard-crusted truth with nothing but air in the middle. See? Interior flying saucer people found a guy named Larry in the California desert in 1960, and they told him that Earth is a prison planet because of what Adam and Eve did. You know what you did, man made of dust and woman made of rib, what with the talking snake and the fruit tree. But by 2028, which is just around the corner, the Genesis-imposed prison sentence will be up, And a giant solar flare, accompanied by the seventh trumpet from Revelations 10, will let us know the flying saucer people are coming to take us home. And, of course, as they let Larry know, they could get enough flying saucers together for everyone in about a week, 8 days tops.
No problem.
Yeah.
Does Larry have a last name?
Does it matter?
No.
Does he need one?
No.
Does Cher have a last name?
True enough.
Does Madonna have a last name?
Fair point.
So I see the doubt in your face. And if you don't believe Larry, well, then how can you not believe Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 4, where it clearly states, and I quote directly from Elder Clough's website here, Deuteronomy calls the land of our hollow earth the outmost parts of heaven, where the lost tribes of Israel were driven to. The prophet Isaiah wrote, in the last days, God would, ... set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The four corners of the earth is the Garden of Eden, where out of flows four rivers to the four cardinal points of compass.
My brain
Mic
broke.
drop.
My brain is mush.
3 words into that thing.
Okay, fine.
I didn't follow any
If you refuse to believe either Larry or Deuteronomy, perhaps you will believe Air Force Colonel Billy Fay Woodard, who along with his sister were born in the inner earth and brought to the surface in what we scummy surface dwellers call 1951.
I would believe him.
Quoting Billy's website, and I quote, both Billy and his sister were born with both male and female organs and were hermaphrodites.
Oh, both.
Just in case you need further clarification.
Both things. That's nice.
Billy naturally was also fluent in an ancient Lemurian language.
Sure.
Again, please see episode 15 for a little
He can talk to lemurs.
a little refresher about Lemuria. It's amazing. And can you guess which Air Force facility Billy rose to command?
Area 52.
You were very close.
So
Damn it.
close. Oh.
But do you think a high-ranking subterranean hermaphroditic commander of Area 51 who returns to the inner earth to visit his parents on the regular is not to be believed? I say, you're a cad. So to conclude, literally we could go on for 4 hours here, but this rabbit hole is quite literally bottomless, and I could go on, but my head is getting hollower by the minute. So if you don't believe this preposterous tapestry of blather I've woven for you today,
And I don't.
and you've got a powerful hankering for more hollow,
And I do.
may I direct you to the venerable and profoundly patient Michael Marshall's Be Reasonable podcast, episode 49, where he ever so gently challenges Rodney Clough's hour-long spiral into the void. And earlier when I said it was the Jews, and y'all were like, sure, it's always the Jews, it ends up with the Jews. Well, it basically ends up with the Jews.
Yeah.
As Clough explains, the globalist, air quotes here, the globalist bankers who control the world via the media don't want this incredible secret to get out because reasons.
Blank.
And because it's a whole triple Lindy, he even manages to try to make Hitler the well-meaning victim of World War II. Seriously. I don't think Marsh was ready for where that was going.
Oh, my God. Can someone dig a hole for this guy quick?
So
right through. Right through the hole.
Just somebody say we've dug it. Jump in.
So I can see from the hollow look in my co-uncle's eyes, it's time to implode this preposterous cave-in, and so I shall. So that's the hollow earth theory. Enter at your own risk.
You know what I'm going to take away from this whole segment and all the research you've done? Is I can't stop thinking about trying to do burpees in a top hat.
Well, then it's the hollow earth is worth something. So,
Then our time is well spent.
yes. So good luck, intrepid explorers.
Yeah, go find it.
May you find no trespassing signs in your path. So.
I've got a friend who's been to the South Pole. I feel like you're better off going down there than don't do the North thing.
Solid rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At least you can walk there.
Yeah, eventually. So good luck, everyone.
Have fun.
Pack a lunch.
Moving on.